G'day guys, welcome. You're probably thinking, where the hell have I been? Long time no see type of stuff. Why wasn't there a preview? Why haven't I done a review? I actually went away on the weekend. It was a planned boys' weekend away, which we do every year. We went to Rye last year, and we decided to go there again this year. And it was just good to get away. It was just so good to get away. There's five of us, and we certainly did. We did hit it pretty hard, and it was good. Not really. We talk a fair bit of footy, but we listened to a lot of music. Music. Sat around the fire pit on Friday night. Didn't get to bed till around about 3:30. The year before, we kind of said, let's go and watch Rye play. Let's go and watch them play, because they're in Division 2 of the Mornington Peninsula Football League. But we didn't end up going. We just sort of sat around at the house we were staying at on the Saturday last year, which we kind of regretted. So we decided to go and watch. After having a huge Friday night, we got up, had showers and stuff, and we made the effort to get down and watch Rye play Tyab at Rye's ground. And it was a beautiful day on Saturday. It was perfect for local footy. Like the beer was going down a treat. The only disappointing thing, and it wasn't really disappointing, is both teams, their seasons are done, like Carlton's, really. They Tyab second bottom, Rye fourth bottom. So they virtually weren't playing for anything, although it felt like a local derby. Like there was a fair bit of spice in it, a fair bit of banter going on between the two benches as well, particularly the runners. Like they were having a go at each other. So it was rather entertaining. And Tyab, away from home, they got off to a flyer. They kicked like 7-2 in the first quarter. So we went out to the Rye quarter-time huddle to see if the coach would give his charges a bit of a bake, but he didn't. He was actually very measured in his approach. I wouldn't say he was boring, but he was very, very measured. And it worked, because Rye just gradually pegged their way back into the game. And come three-quarter time, they were only a goal down, and they stormed home in the last quarter. I think they kicked 8-3 in the last quarter, ended up winning by 21 points, I think, in a really high-scoring game. And the quality of football, given that both teams are on the bottom of the ladder, and both teams, and it's Division 2 football, it was actually okay, but it was such a good day. Rye did have this really flamboyant, like a lot of teams do. A lot of teams do have that flamboyant full forward. He looked the part, he was well built, 192 centimetres, bit of swagger about him. He didn't work overly hard, like he wasn't. His defensive pressure was pretty poor, but he was marking everything, kicking straight, kicked 9. He kicked 9 for the game, and his goal celebrations and his antics after kicking goals were next level. He was very enjoyable to watch. Like, that was a treat. So we, as you generally do, just wanted to find out who the hell he was. And we went into player HQ after the game. Number 3, I think it was number 3, said Edward Green. So we did a back search on him, and he was a new recruit to the football club this year. Came from Collegians, 27 years of age, I think he is. So yeah, where else did he play? He went to Wesley. Found out that, and then we found out that he is the younger brother of Toby Green, which kind of explained just his antics on the ground. But anyway, he was pretty much a lone hand up forward for the Rye Footy Club. Great day, and then we went back to the house, and we sat up once again to around about 3:30 in the morning, sitting around the fire pit. So it was a great weekend. I knew the scores of our game. I knew we'd lost. I knew Frankie had a night out, but that's about it, really. I was never going to watch it. I was always going to watch the replay on Sunday night. And I must admit, I don't think I will do previews and reviews for the last 2 games of the year. It just seems rather pointless. I'll probably now just do some random videos because, what's the use of previewing and reviewing our last two games of the year? There's been so much happening over the last 7 days at the footy club with the announcement of Michael Voss, and then today with Graham Wright speaking for the first time in a pre-record, Brad Lloyd being sacked. There's so much going on, so much to get my head around, trying to make sense of it all. How do I feel about it? I don't necessarily want to say much now because I am here to do the votes. So don't expect a preview for the Port Adelaide game. It just doesn't really matter. Does it really matter what happens now with the last two games? I mean, I just want to maybe just enjoy the last two games for what they are. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But I will continue to do these votes for the last two games with Spencer. So this is the way the coaches saw it. Just quickly, I did have the coaches' votes up here. So there they are. No arguments there. Matt Rowell, he's a gun, isn't he? I reckon he's a Carlton supporter, Matt Rowell. I reckon he grew up a Carlton supporter. God, didn't he turn it on, particularly early in that game? He's just like a machine. Took Miller as well was good. Ben King had a night out with 6 goals. Marked everything. He was very good. Great to see Francis Evans and Cooper Lord score votes from the coaches, and Sam Collins. I don't think he's necessarily the best key defender in the game, but I reckon he's probably one of the hardest to play on. He's so desperate and tough. So no surprises he gets one there. But let's have a look at the way Spencer and myself voted. We'll start with the My Blue Heaven medal first, the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Put those votes up now for you guys to have a look at. I went Francis Evans with the 5. My boy Frankie is certainly turning it on at the moment. That was a top quality performance. Yeah, that was 4 goals, 16 possessions. The way he used the ball, his poise and balance. He's nice and hard and tough as well. Good game, really good game from Francis Evans. Makes you think, doesn't it? He's on a rookie contract, out of contract at the end of the year. It certainly makes you think about him. We'll play against his old club on Saturday night as well. But he looked every bit a quality small forward on Saturday night. So hopefully it's just not one out of the box. But he has been building. But you don't want to go too early on these things. But anyway, Cooper Lord, outstanding again. He's really growing on me, this kid. He's become a bit of a giant killer. I mean, to think that he's only 20 years of age and 2 weeks in a row he's gone to Caleb Sarong and then Noah Anderson and really stopped their impact, but at the same time win his own footy. That's a pretty fair effort for someone who's 20 years of age. That's good signs. To have someone that you've picked up in a mid-season draft, who missed out on the draft, went and played North Melbourne VFL, and he's gone into the middle of the ground with Adam Chera being out and done a job, is good signs, I think, for the future. Ollie Hollins, I know the ball use. I'm not stupid. I know the ball use. I know it's a big area of his game that's a problem. Who knows moving forward whether he will be an answer for us, but you can't, in a team that, let's face it, hasn't got a lot going for it at the moment. It's not like we are, there's 5 players each week when you're losing games that you're really confident in giving votes to, but his work rate is excellent. He just doesn't stop running. You can't fault it. He's got really good balance. He does a lot of things right. But yeah, the kicking, it's not awful. It's not great. So whether you're going to put him on a halfback flank or a wing, you're probably going to have the same problems. But fingers crossed it's an area of his game that can improve. I gave Harry, I thought he had a really good battle with Sam Collins, who I said before was one of the hardest players in the competition I would have thought to play on. 3 goals and worked his ass off. And Cripps had a frustrating night, but I snuck him in for a vote. Spencer went Evans, Lord, Hollins, Cripps, and he liked the game, or the improved performance of Adam Sard. He snuck him in for a vote. We know this award is done and dusted, but let's have a look at it anyway. George Hewitt, well out in front, didn't score any votes in this game. Ollie Hollins he's just moved away into second position by 3 votes in front of Patrick Cripps, but that's it really in regards to the top 10, other than Cooper Lord coming into 9th position. And good to see my boy Frankie. Just the last 2 weeks have been pretty bloody good. 6 goals in the last 2 weeks. Scored the big 10 votes in this game. So he's up into 17th position. All right, let's have a look at the very close My Blue Hell medal, where all the interest does lie. Spencer and myself both went with Lewis Young. I then went Will White, Jacob Wiedering, Flynn Young, a couple of Youngs in there, and Billy Wilson. I thought our key backs were ordinary for most of the night. They didn't have good nights. Lewis Young didn't have a good night. And Will White, he's battling at the moment. He's just battling. It's going to be interesting now with the improved form of Francis Evans, how this is going to go come the end of the year. I don't know if they're going to keep them all. I can't see them keeping all those small forwards who are out of contract. So the ones we've got out of contract, Francis Evans, Orazio Fantasia, Flynn Young, and Will White. Durden and Fogarty are contracted. So I can't see them being moved on. And same with Motlop. I can't see them being moved on unless we want to trade them. So I don't know where we're going to keep all those 3. You would think we won't. And right now, Francis Evans is the one who's really putting his hand up, which is a little unfair for someone like Flynn Young, who's only been out at our club for a short time, and Will White as well. And they're still growing into the game. It's difficult when you haven't had full pre-seasons at AFL level to come in and try and make an impact halfway through the year. So this is not a knock on them as such, because I actually see things in their game which I kind of like, but they just had quiet games. Will Young subbed out. Flynn Young, relatively quiet, didn't hit the scoreboard in this game, relatively quiet. And probably unlucky for Billy Wilson, only playing his second game. He probably would have got plenty out of it, but he didn't. I mean, as a rebounding defender, I know his job is to lock down and to defend strongly, but as a rebounding defender, I don't know what his stats were in the end, but he was kind of hardly sighted. So I gave him a vote. And Spencer's gone Lewis Young, Jacob Wiedering, Fogarty, who had a poor night in front of the sticks. It could have been a much better night, but it is inexcusable to miss those shots that he did. Tom DeConning, he really did battle against the superior Jarrod Whitson. He's given Blake Acres, he's got him in the gun with only 15 touches. Let's have a look at the medal. Motlop's still out in front. He hasn't polled for a while. So you look at Fogarty and Acres, they've polled in 11 and 10 games respectively. So I would think, unless there's an injury, both of those boys will continue to play for the rest of the year, although the VFL had a pretty good win, didn't they? Will we see one of the Campo boys come in maybe for a game? Not quite sure. Don't know if there's anyone knocking the door down for a game at reserves level at the moment, although, it's good to see Big O'Keefe get an opportunity again. Did a couple of nice things, a couple of big grabs in the forward line. I reckon he looks a rather likely prospect when he goes into the centre of the ground. He's nice and strong and nice and aggressive. Will White, he's up into 4th position. Charlie Curnow. Jacob Wiedering is just steadily climbing as to Tom DeConning, Adam Saab, Mitch McGovern, Nick Haynes, guys. That's the My Blue Heaven medal. Anyway, as I said, we'll not be previewing or reviewing any more games for the rest of the year. 2 games left, but I will be back to continue this medal, and we'll be back with some random videos on my thoughts about what's happening at the footy club at the moment in time. Anyway, speak soon.